Welcome back everyone to another tutorial. In today's tutorial I'm going to demonstrate how you can set up a rocket like this one with particle effects and these thrusters giving you force, upward force, and also turning left and right but still being bound by gravity. This setup of course can also be used in a space game without any gravity. It's no problem. And I'm also going to set up the rocket in such a way that if you hit something, you will explode. So let's get right into it, and of course you will respawn. So here's the scene. I also used this in the game which I posted in the game of 2020. So it has already the nice atmosphere with a starry background. I'm just going to show you very short what I did. I have like some stars here. Just one, it's a huge particle system. It's really bad for performance, so I don't recommend it, especially for browser games. And what it does, it just pretty much like makes these stars appear and disappear for a couple seconds, and this gives a nice effect. But anyway, so we're gonna just set up the rocket now. What I did, I went to the internet and I got this rocket, and I've set that up. Let's put it in a sorting layer in the player. Let's put it on, keep it on 0 is fine, I suppose. Just drag it here in place. And yes, let's just call this the rocket so it has the right name. That's good. So the rocket will need a couple of things. First of all, I'm going to tag it as a rocket. And the layer doesn't really matter. I suppose the player or the rocket layer is fine. Let's just put it on a rocket layer. And now I'm going to add some components. And we're going to start with some box colliders. And the first box collider will be for the rocket to stand. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it back like this a little bit. And it's pretty aligned there, but I'm just going to pull it up. And this one I'm just gonna drag down here a little bit. So that's the first collider. This is not a trigger. Gonna add one more box collider. And this second collider, I'm just gonna put it a little bit up here. This one is a trigger. So I want this collider, if I collide against anything, then let's say the rocket will be destroyed. Right. So I'm in a gravity world still, so the rocket has to fly in gravity. So I'm going to add a rigid body as well, rigid body 2D. Let's just close this sprite here. And dynamic seems good. And now we can, of course, play around with the mass. Should be a little bit heavy rocket, so that you can also, once you start adding force, that it feels like it needs some force. So let's just put that on 10, gravity skill 1, and you can play with this. This depends on your game. If you set the gravity skill to 0, then you can just fly the rocket eternally. So if you want to have the rocket in open space, then just set the gravity skill to 0. Collision detection, I would do it continuous. Freeze rotation. Yeah, I'm just going to freeze the rotation for now, and I will manipulate rotation later with my FSM. So let's do it like that. The rest seems all right for now. So of course you can play around with materials, but just for now that's okay. Then we're going to add a audio source. Audio source. I think maybe even easier is if you just drag on the audio. And I've got a rocket sound or a thruster sound. I'm just gonna put it there. Play on awake. No. Let's not do that. Let's just leave it pretty basic, but we're gonna play this rocket sound the moment you're gonna hit, let's say, the thrusters. So that's good. Then what we want to do is, I've got some cameras and I made here the rocket camera. So you have a main camera and the rocket camera. I'm just gonna say follow the rocket. And the camera looks now like this. So the camera will be following the rocket around. It's good. It's now floating a little bit up. It will drop down, hopefully. So what I have here is just some some platform, I believe. Yeah, which has a lot of box colliders there. So this is my landing pad. It's not really that nice, but well, it works. It has some free lights there. Perhaps let's make those lights blue. How about that? Nah? Because we're ready to fly. In my game, I made it if it's red and the rocket can't fly, but let's just put it like that. But this is all just very optional, not really necessary for the, let's say, our main purpose here today to make a rocket. So to add now some effective rockets, I can now of course start adding the FSM and it will fly, but I mean it won't have any, let's say, particle effect. So what I did, I set up a couple of, I had a fire particle effect here and also a smoke particle effect here. So, and then the fire, I can just shortly go through it. So you can have a look. I'm not gonna go over all the things. You can just pause the video. There's the shape, and I think it's the size. Okay, I scaled it up a little bit to make it fitting. Size over lifetime, rotation, collision, yes, 2D. So once it hits here, the collision, it will not go through. So it's quite important, I think. And I used some fire material. And for that, I really used this picture. That's incredible. Well, it works. And for smoke, I did it similar, but just a different setup here, different color. Emission is the same. The shape is different, and I think the main difference here is that I added some noise. Yep. And the color difference. So here's the noise. Yeah, so those are some particle systems. Also, now what I did, what you're gonna need here is an explosion. Yeah, I've just made a lot of particles just explode like that. That's really nice. Yeah, you can play around with these particle systems. Good. And what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna remove the explosion. And I'm just gonna add the fire and the smoke. So the smoke one, what we should have, it's like have it there, right? Coming out, and the fire one as well. Like this. Just gonna duplicate them and drag them here to the right as well. Now I will have like, yeah, kind of out of the thrusters. Can play around with the positioning, but I think that could be okay. So we have that. The question is if I also want to put a light on the rocket just to make it a little bit more nicer or glowy, I can of course just add here a simple light, 2D light. Let's just add a freeform light, some shape. It's all optional, guys. Just want to give a little bit of yeah, feel to this rocket. And let's just add some volume, some intensity up. Can be any color, right? Should I make a little bit of red, yellowish color? It's all up to you. I'm just playing around now a little bit. Fall off intensity, like this. I don't really like this color. I should have it blue. How about that? How about that? Okay. So then at least the rocket is a little bit shiny, which is all right, I think. The target sorting layer should of course be the player. Ooh. Then we should go down in the intensity. As you can see, it lit up the rocket pretty much now. Opacity. There we go. All right, let's just have it like that. It's okay. So we have the rocket light. So now we have basically the rocket set up. And we also have the camera following the rocket once we start moving. So that's the basics. And now let's start adding FSMs. So let's first of all close this down a little bit. The audio source, let's make sure, yes, everything is okay. And let's add the first FSM. Let's call this FSM add force. Yes, add force, very good. And the start state, what I want to do is, because the particle effects will start playing anyway, I'm just gonna stop particles from the start. As long as I'm not flying, I don't want any particles to come. And we're gonna use this more often. So particle system stop. And let's just open this up. So let's lock this one here. Specify GameObject, fire. Then just copy paste it. I'm just gonna drag in the other fire, copy paste it, put in the smoke, copy paste, and the smoke too. There we go. This will happen instantly. And then we're ready to start adding the force. And let's call this one the idle. So not adding any force. And what I want to do here is also the audio stop. And I'm just going to use the owner, audio, wait, not audio stop. Let's perhaps use audio pause. This is maybe an easier one. And you will notice in a second how. Then we're doing the key down, and you can also do button down, but I'm just gonna go with key down. And I'm just gonna add here the space, so the usual jump. And then I'm gonna just add finish. And go here. And here we're gonna add force. And here it's gonna be also get key up. So the moment I let go of space, I want it to go back. So I'm just going to set that up first. There we go. Finish. Very good. So it's can I idle, no add force. And now we will add force. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add relative force to D. And add relative force to D means it will add force according to the rotation. So I'm gonna just go to the Y here and let's just add 150 every frame. And this also depends on the mass. So you can play around with this and find the force which is good for you. Force mode force, this is fine. Leave it like that. And so the moment I hit space, every frame it will start adding force. So the rocket will go faster and faster. So think of that how you want to do this in your game, but this is just an example. So, and here I want to then play audio play. And I'm just gonna, use the owner volume. Yeah, this is debatable. Let's check it out later. Wait for the end of the clip. This always, we don't need it. I just want to play the audio. And oh, that's perhaps a good one. The audio should loop. Yes, because it's like the rocket sound and it's making the thruster sound, and I just want it to loop. And I just want it to play here, audio play. And then I'm gonna play all this particle system play. So this is then the moment I'm hitting space, I want this fire particle system to start running. And I'm gonna stop on exit. So the moment I'm releasing my space, because it's get key up. So here it's get key down, here it's get key up. Then I stop. Just gonna copy paste this. Add fire 2. Do the one for the smoke. And also for smoke 2. Great. And so if the key is up, I finish again. So that's it for the add force. So at the moment, it should already be able to fly up and down. Let's add another FSM, and let's call this one left, or let's say turn left. Great. And in this state, I'm just going to start with the idle. And it's also very easy. Get key down again. And let's do the left arrow to go left. That makes sense. And then, of course, we're going to add a transition, which is then finished. And here we're going to go just turn left, turn left. And let's do right away get key up. Whoops. Also left arrow here and finished. So that's the basic setup here. And here we're going to do rotate. Just going to use the rotate command, and we're going to rotate the Z-axis with 1, which is then to the left. And the space itself, that is fine. Every frame, and we're just going to make it fixed updates. Yeah, apparently this is useful when working with rigid bodies and physics. So let's just trust the system in that. And this actually will already enable me to turn it left. And at the moment, I'm just going to press the left key. Then my rocket will turn every frame like 1. And because every frame is very fast, it will turn quite fast. Okay, just going to copy all these. And I'm going to add one more FSM. And let's call this one right. And I'm just going to paste here. Nope, I didn't get it. It's actually turn right. So let's be consistent here. Turn left. I'm just going to select these. I'm going to copy them. Going to paste them in. And here, of course, I have to go then to the right arrow. And let's call this turn right. The Z angle should be -1. And also the get key up should be the right arrow. So now we should already be able to fly the rocket to the left and right. Let's shortly try it out. So I can turn it now here to the left, to the right, and every time I press space, the force is being added. And as you can see, it's quite a heavy rocket, so it needs quite some force to get going. And it really adds the force relative to where I'm rotating the rocket. And of course, I can just land it back here. That's great. That's already, let's say, the rocket controller. And what we could add now is, of course, let's say, to destroy a rocket if you hit something. So let's just say here, destroy rocket. Destroy rocket. And you can, of course, do many different triggers or reasons to destroy the rocket. Currently, the rocket's not set up with any fuel or anything or any limitations, so it can just fly endlessly. So let's just do a easy trigger that if it hits a rocket kill floor, it will then be destroyed. So the first stage should then be a trigger 2D event. And also let's call this the trigger. And the FSM was destroy rocket. On trigger enter, collider tag, rocket destroy. I've set up here a trigger somewhere. Oh, there it is, the rocket kill floor. Sorry about that. There are some kill floors, which, so there, for example, if I just put it here on the trees, if I hit the trees, it will be destroyed. If I hit the floor, it will be destroyed. And it's only the trigger on the top part. And this is the rocket destroy tag on the layer rocket. And the rocket is also on the layer rocket. So, and I also put like on this platform some, let's say, rocket kill floors. All right, let's go get back into the rocket because this is important. So I'm just going to send the event finished here. Great. And the moment I trigger or I manage to land my rocket into the trees here, I'm just going to trigger this and I'm going to, let's say, destroy the rocket. And here we do need to do actually quite some things because we want to also stop the sound or stop audio. Use owner is already fine because I'm only going to stop the audio on this audio source, so yes, that's okay. Then what I want to do is set velocity to 0. There we go. And we're going to do this every frame as long as we're in this state. So I don't want it to keep on moving everywhere. So I'm just going to stop the camera and everything. I'm going to stop it in place. And what else do we want to do? We're going to, of course, create an object. And I made this explosion object. And the spawn point should be, of course, the rocket. The rocket will keep existing, but we're going to make it disappear by using the following. We're going to set sprite color RGBA. This is from the ecosystem, so please download it from the ecosystem if you can't find it in your action browser. As usual, the ecosystem is in add-ons ecosystem browser. So and then you can just search for that action and add it. And what we're going to do here is just set the alpha. We'll make it totally transparent. Like this. And the other color, we don't want to do anything with the other color. We just want the alpha on 0 and the other colors keep it normal. There we go. I also want to play a sound, so I'm going to stop the normal sound, but I'm not going to use the audio play. I'm going to play sound this time of the explosion. This is audio stop, and this is play audio, just some random audio, explosion rocket sound. There we go. And what we can do, because what I did, I had this light here, and let's lock this here. I have this freeform light, and what I can do is, of course, just drag here the light to D and set property here. And what I should do here is then to activate it or not. And I'm just checking. Now, wait, perhaps it's better to just drag in this whole thing and GameObject and set property active. So we just deactivate this whole GameObject. Does that make any sense? So then the light will also be turned off. So we don't put anything, we just deactivate it by using set property active. And now we also have to, let's say, do all the particle, because I want to have all the particle systems stopped, right, which are playing. All right. And we're going to specify the game object again, and we're going to do the fire one, fire two. It's a lot, as I said, which you have to do here. Smoke and smoke one. So the 4 particle systems. And finally enable FSM, because I don't want to, let's say that I can still make the FSM. So use the owner, and let's say add force should be turned off, and just gonna enable. No, we want to disable it. So we have to remove the objective. Do we want to reset on exit? No, not yet. Just gonna copy paste this one, and also doing the turn right and turn left. At the moment you're gonna add more FSMs to your rocket for other purposes, also make sure that you then either enable them or disable them, however you see fitting. And let's just have then a cooldown. So I'm just gonna add a wait. So it will just show the explosion. Where's my wait? Let's say we're gonna wait 4 seconds and then finish. And then we're gonna, let's say, reset rocket. And what I'm gonna do is, first of all, finish. And let's reset the rocket with a wait. And let's just wait perhaps 1 more second before we can start doing stuff. So let's make one more state here. Reset the rocket to the starting position. And here we're gonna enable FSMs. And let's just go to these FSMs first. 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then here we're gonna enable all of them. And then finish. There we go. So we have these 3 FSMs now add force, and we're not going to reset on exit. We just have them enabled again, and then we can also trigger again to destroy the rocket. And reset rocket is I want to put the rocket back in position in the right rotation. So what I'm going to do is set position, and let's do the set position. I think in the, yeah, let's just set the position in the X and the Y, and let's just check where the rocket is now, like 15.6 and minus 10. All right, let's do something like 50.6 and minus 10, 10.5, or 6, whichever, 6, and that's okay. So we're gonna reset the rocket there. We're gonna also then set, of course, the color back. So what I can do is I'm just gonna go here. Where's the color one? Set sprite color RGBA. And what I'm gonna do is just make it transparent again. Not transparent, untransparent it. And I'm gonna set rotation, because I was like turning all over the place and I destroyed, right? So set rotation of the z-axis to 0. So this should reset the rotation, and the world is fine. And what I also can do is, of course, turn on the light again of my rocket ship. I turned it off earlier. Here, just gonna copy this one, paste it here, and I'm gonna activate the light again. Great. There's nothing which I'm doing every frame here, so it will just wait 1 second and then finish, of course. Here, I forgot something. And then it will enable the FSMs again. Well, that was a lot. Let's also just try and see if it works. And perhaps for this one, let's just have a look here. Whoops. So I'm playing. I can turn the rocket, and there is somewhere a destroy the rocket, and it was destroyed. For some reason, the particle effect was not very big. But as you can see, the concept itself works. The particle effect is very small. Yeah, well, we can upgrade that, of course. But as you can see, all the intended other things that I can't do anything here. And the rocket is back, and now I can start using it again. And so for this particle effect of the straw, you can just play around with it. That explosion is a little bit bigger. That's great. And then I would say, I hope you can use this and you can go on a journey into space. So, So, and here you can of course then make a lot of games. You can see the nice background with the stars. And I'm just now flying through the level. Whoa, there is no collider there to destroy my rocket. So, and there you're flying all the way up. You can fly all the way until you get, I think, there's a moon. Yay! Until you get to the moon. Alright guys, so I hope you like this tutorial with the rocket. If you like it, I can further also show you how to make, let's say, a fuel bar, or add a fuel system, or different things. I might also look into some shooting elements, and also think of the same concept in a, let's say, a setup where there is gravity. Oh, I'm just gonna land here in my map. So please subscribe if you liked it, and put that like button, and see you all in the next video.